In 2012, a shy, trembling teenager walked onto the Britain's Got Talent stage and unleashed a voice that seemed to defy the laws of physics. But by 2026, that same boy has been replaced by a man the industry barely recognizes. While the world remembers the long hair and the timid glances, the Jonathan Antoine we are seeing today is making headlines for reasons that have nothing to do with a talent show and everything to do with a radical, almost unrecognizable transformation. We aren't just talking about a new album or a fresh tour. We're talking about a complete identity overhaul that has left fans questioning if we ever really knew the real Jonathan at all. For years, he seemed to linger in the shadows of his own success, but a series of recent reveals regarding his private life and a sudden, massive shift in his public persona have sparked a global conversation. Something changed behind closed doors in late 2025, and as the 2026 headlines continue to swirl, it's becoming clear that the tenor of the people was hiding a reality far more complex than any of us could have imagined. Tonight, we're pulling back the curtain on the controversies, the medical breakthroughs, and the secret industry battles that forced him to walk away from everything he knew. The mystery isn't just where he's been, but why he's decided to finally break his silence now. The biggest shockwave to hit the industry in early 2026 wasn't a musical release, but a deeply personal exposure regarding Jonathan's health that explains a decade of bizarre behavior and social withdrawal. For years, critics and even some fans labeled him as difficult or reclusive, but the truth that surfaced just months ago has turned that narrative on its head. Jonathan recently went public with a formal autism diagnosis, something he describes as the missing piece of a lifelong puzzle that he struggled with during his highest points of fame. Imagine being thrust into the global spotlight under the harsh, flickering lights of a television studio, while your brain is literally wired to process sensory input differently. He's now revealing the harrowing details of what it was like to be a teenager under a million-pound contract, while silently battling a condition he didn't even have a name for at the time. This wasn't just about being shy. It was a constant, daily battle with a world that felt too loud and too fast. Sources close to the singer suggest that his disappearance from the mainstream was actually a self-imposed exile to protect his mental well-being. He's hinted that during the height of his early success, the pressure became so intense that he nearly offed his career entirely, choosing silence over the crushing weight of expectation. This new transparency in 2026 has sparked a massive debate about how child stars are treated, but more importantly, it has reframed Jonathan not as a victim, but as a survivor who had to lose himself to find out who he actually was. But even as he finds his footing, a new controversy regarding his past partnership is starting to resurface. Even a decade later, the name Jonathan Antoine is inseparable from Charlotte Jaconelli, but in 2026, new rumors are swirling that the split was far more toxic than the public was ever led to believe. When the duo famously parted ways in 2014, the official line was creative differences, but industry insiders are now exposing the brutal reality of the Simon Cowell era contracts that allegedly pitted the two teenagers against one another. There have been whispers in recent months about a harrowing legal battle over royalties and the rights to their early recordings that has kept them from speaking for years. While Charlotte has carved out her own path in musical theater, Jonathan's recent interviews have been notably chilly when her name is mentioned, leading to speculation that a deep-seated feud remains unresolved. The shocking truth might be that the duo was a product of corporate engineering that ignored the personal bond they actually shared, turning a friendship into a business transaction that eventually imploded. People are asking, did the industry kill one of the greatest duos in history for the sake of a quick profit? Some speculators suggest that a tell-all chapter in Jonathan's upcoming 2026 project will finally name the executives who pushed them apart. But for now, the silence between the two remains the loudest part of the story. However, it's not just the past that's haunting him. It's the physical transformation that has left his longtime fans absolutely stunned. If you saw Jonathan Antoine walking down the street today, you probably wouldn't recognize him, and that seems to be exactly how he wants it. His 2026 look is a far cry from the disheveled teen of 2012. He has undergone a massive physical reveal that some are calling the greatest glow-up in classical music history. But it's not just the weight loss or the tailored suits, it's the voice. In a move that has exposed him to massive risk, Jonathan has pivoted away from the pure operatic sound that made him a millionaire. His latest sessions at Angel Studios in LA show him experimenting with a soulful, contemporary grit that sounds more like a pop powerhouse than a Pavarotti protege. This has caused a massive conflict within his fan base. The purists feel betrayed, while a new generation of listeners is discovering him for the first time. There is shocking speculation that he actually damaged his vocal cords during his early years by oversinging, and that this new style is a forced adaptation to save his career. Whether it's a choice or a necessity, the 2026 version of Jonathan Antoine is shaking the foundations of the classical crossover genre. He's no longer playing the role of the opera boy. He's rebranding as a modern icon. But this rebellion against his roots has left many wondering if his old management is trying to block his new path. The stakes couldn't be higher, especially with a new documentary on the horizon that promises to reveal even darker secrets from his school days. The biggest reveal of the year is the confirmed production of a high-budget documentary that aims to expose the brutal bullying Jonathan faced long before he ever stepped on a stage. This isn't just a puff piece. Early leaks suggest the film will dive into criminal levels of harassment he endured as a child, including accusations against former peers who made his life a living hell. In 2026, Jonathan is finally using his platform to reveal the names and the stories of those who tried to break him, a move that is being hailed as courageous by some and dangerous by others. Hollywood heavyweights are reportedly involved, signaling that Jonathan is no longer just a UK reality star, but a global figure with a story that resonates far beyond music. There are even rumors of a potential biopic in the works, with A-list actors already being discussed for the role. This massive push into the American market suggests that Jonathan is finally breaking free from the UK talent show stigma that has haunted him for over a decade. He's moving into the big leagues, but as his profile grows, so does the scrutiny on his private life. People are digging deeper into his secret lifestyle in North London, looking for any dirt on the man who seems too good to be true. But as we look at the final piece of the 2026 puzzle, the most shocking thing isn't the fame, it's the peace he seems to have found. So why is the world talking about Jonathan Antoine again in 2026? It's because he represents the ultimate survival story in an industry that usually discards people as soon as the cameras stop rolling. He didn't just overdose on fame and fade away. He stepped back, rebuilt his mind, and came back with a revealed sense of purpose that is rare in the era of TikTok celebrities. The shocking truth is that Jonathan Antoine might be the most authentic artist we have left. He's no longer the shy boy or the opera guy. He is a man who has reclaimed his narrative from the predatory nature of the music business. As he prepares to launch his most ambitious world tour to date, the question isn't whether he can still hit the high notes, but whether the world is ready for a star who refuses to play by the rules. We've seen him exposed, we've seen him struggle, and we've seen the accusations fly. But in 2026, Jonathan Antoine is the one holding the microphone. His story serves as a chilling reminder of the cost of fame, but also a hopeful testament to the power of a comeback that is built on truth rather than hype. What do you think about Jonathan's new direction? Is he a betrayer of his classical roots, or is he finally showing us the man he was always meant to be? The world is watching,